You're 49 years old. How the hell did that happen?
I have no idea. We were talking about our first interview that may have been 30 years ago.
5 Academy Award nominations, 0 wins. While newcomers claimed their trophies on the first attempt, one of Hollywood's most dedicated actors waited over 2 decades for recognition. This is the story of how relentless pressure and the hunger to prove himself drove Leonardo DiCaprio to extraordinary lengths. The Hollywood that tourists imagine, a place of glamour and endless possibility, was far from the reality of East Hollywood in the 1970s and 80s. This was a neighborhood where survival came before dreams, where the streets told stories of struggle rather than success. Drug deals happened on street corners, prostitutes worked the boulevard, and sirens pierced through the night, a constant reminder of the danger surrounding them. In a modest apartment near the intersection of Hollywood Boulevard and Western Avenue, Irmelin DiCaprio raised her son alone. A German immigrant who had come to America seeking opportunity, she instead found herself working multiple jobs just to keep a roof over their heads. The irony of their location wasn't lost. An address that promised stardom but delivered only hardship. Leonardo's early memories paint a vivid picture of those formative years. He recalled being attacked by other kids who wanted his bicycle, witnessing scenes no child should see, experiences that taught him how fragile safety and security truly were. His mother became everything. Both parents, protector, and anchor in an unrelenting storm. Irmelin's devotion was extraordinary. She would take Leonardo on 3 buses to reach auditions, sometimes walking miles when money was too tight for transportation. They sat in crowded waiting rooms alongside other desperate families, all chasing the same seemingly impossible dream. When Leonardo later called his mother his hero, those who knew them understood it wasn't Hollywood sentimentality. It was the simple truth of their survival. Leonardo's father, George, remained in his life despite the separation from Irmelin, though his PR essence was limited. An artist creating underground comic books that barely generated income, George existed on society's margins, another reminder of how precarious their circumstances were. By age 10, Leonardo had absorbed a harsh lesson most children are spared. Life offers no guarantees. Opportunity doesn't arrive on its own. And if you want something better, you must fight for it with everything you have. Irmelin pushed Leonardo into auditions not out of stage parent ambition, but from a mother's desperation to give her son options she never had. Most doors remained firmly closed. Casting directors saw a rough kid from the wrong neighborhood. "You're not what we're looking for," became a phrase he heard so frequently it eventually lost its sting. But Irmelin never gave up. Years later, when asked about his drive, Leonardo would explain that watching his mother's struggles made him promise himself he would never let her endure such hardship again. The turning point came in 1991 with a recurring role on Growing Pains, one of America's top-rated family sitcoms. Success was sweet, but Leonardo could feel himself being typecast as the cute television kid. Then 1993 brought a terrifying opportunity, This Boy's Life, directed by Michael Cotton-Jones and starring Robert De Niro. At 18, Leonardo was cast as Tobias Wolff, a teenager enduring an abusive home. He later confessed his fear that De Niro would see through him, that everyone would realize he didn't belong. When cameras rolled, however, something extraordinary happened. Leonardo matched De Niro scene for scene. Critics took notice. The New York Times called it a revelation, while Variety praised how DiCaprio holds his own against De Niro with stunning maturity. That same year, his performance in What's Eating Gilbert Grape redefined expectations for a 19-year-old actor. Playing Arnie, a teenager with developmental disabilities opposite Johnny Depp, Leonardo delivered something haunting. Rolling Stone declared, "DiCaprio is phenomenal. He doesn't play Arnie. He becomes him." His first Academy Award nomination followed, Best Supporting Actor at age 19. He stood among Hollywood's elite, recognized as a serious artist. He didn't win. Tommy Lee Jones took the Oscar for The Fugitive. In 1996, Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet transformed Leonardo from respected actor into teen idol. Suddenly his face was everywhere. He later admitted feeling like a product rather than an actor, reduced to a poster on bedroom walls. When James Cameron began casting Titanic, his $200 million gamble, he initially resisted Leonardo. Cameron told him bluntly at their first meeting, "I don't want you. You're not right for this." Leonardo fought back, and Cameron finally relented. Fine, but you better prove me wrong. No one predicted what followed. Titanic didn't just premiere in December 1997. It became a cultural phenomenon. The numbers were staggering. $2.2 billion globally, 11 Academy Awards. Leonardo's face became inescapable, worshipped by millions. But he later confessed, "I couldn't go anywhere. I felt like I was being hunted." Worse than losing anonymity was losing credibility. Hollywood saw him only as the Titanic guy, dismissing him for serious roles. The cruelest irony, despite Titanic's 11 Oscar wins, including Best Picture, Leonardo received no nomination whatsoever. Salvation arrived in 2002 through Martin Scorsese. Gangs of New York cast Leonardo as Amsterdam Valen, seeking revenge in the brutal 5 Point slums. He recalled how Scorsese broke me down, then rebuilt me as an actor, not a celebrity. Their partnership would prove transformative, reshaping Leonardo's entire career trajectory. Scorsese saw beyond the teen idol facade, recognizing the raw talent and dedication that had been there since those early days with De Niro. This collaboration marked the beginning of Leonardo's renaissance as a serious dramatic actor. In 2004's The Aviator, Leonardo embodied Howard Hughes in a towering 3-hour performance of mania, charm, paranoia, and heartbreak. Critics erupted in praise. Variety declared it the performance of his career. His second Oscar nomination came, Best Actor, 11 years after his first. Jamie Foxx won for Ray. This loss felt different, sparking headlines asking, "How did Leo not win?" By 2015, at 41, Leonardo had nothing left to prove except everything. The Revenant director Alejandro González Iñárritu pitched a vision, shooting chronologically using only natural light in Earth's most remote, hostile locations. Iñárritu told Leonardo, "I need you to suffer, really suffer." Temperatures plunged to 40 degrees below zero. Leonardo spent hours submerged in frozen rivers, his body shaking so violently the crew feared hypothermia. He slept inside a dead horse carcass for one scene and ate raw bison liver, gagging between takes. He later confessed, "It was the most difficult thing I've ever done. There were moments I thought I would die out there. Not dramatically, literally. My body was shutting down." When The Revenant premiered in December 2015, the response was overwhelming. Variety declared, "DiCaprio delivers a primal, visceral performance unlike anything he's done before." On February 28, 2016, Leonardo sat in the Dolby Theater for his 5th nomination. When Julianne Moore opened the envelope and announced, "And the Oscar goes to Leonardo DiCaprio," the theater erupted. 22 years, 5 nominations. Finally, his speech was measured, gracious, focused on climate change rather than personal triumph. Backstage, clutching the Oscar, he told reporters, "It's surreal." In the following weeks, friends noticed his quietness, the absence of celebration beyond obligatory press. He admitted to someone close, "I thought I would feel different. I thought this would change something." Long before that Oscar night, Leonardo had built another legacy through his environmental foundation created in 1998, donating over $100 million to environmental causes and producing documentaries including The 11th Hour in 2007, Before the Flood in 2016, and Ice on Fire in 2019. Yet backlash followed. Critics highlighted contradictions, preaching carbon reduction while flying private jets to climate conferences. Exposés calculated his massive carbon footprint, with estimates reaching over 418 tons of carbon dioxide annually. At 50, Leonardo stands at the peak of achievement. An Oscar winner, a fortune exceeding $300 million, partnerships with the greatest directors of his generation. Yet friends describe a generous man who keeps people at arm's length. One admitted off the record, "He's lonely. He would never say it, but you can see it." The devastating truth. Leonardo DiCaprio spent his entire life proving he was worthy, and in the process, perhaps forgot to let anyone truly close. His journey from the gritty streets of East Hollywood to the Oscar stage represents both triumph and sacrifice. A reminder that even our greatest victories can come at unexpected costs.